Capitalism and Communism, Part 2. In Part 1, I describe capitalism as selfish mercantilism. That is to say that it didn't really bring much to the table that mercantilism didn't already have other than personal greed. Instead of maximizing the income of the state, it maximizes the income of individuals. Marxism, communism is not entirely wrong in describing the phenomena of wealth disparity. However, it is not so simple that every wealthy person is inherently bad, because they're not. Capitalists would call selfishness a virtue, and I must disagree. While yes, democracy is predicated on the idea that everybody pursues their own rational self-interest, I would argue that rational self-interest is not selfishness. Selfishness extends past rational self-interest. Selfishness seeks to take from others. Selfishness is to take more than one needs, more than one even truly wants. It is to want for the having alone, a sort of schadenfreude. So I would say that working in your own self-interest, that is a virtue. Sure, yes, we could call that virtuous. But once it gets to the point of selfishness, you're depriving other people needlessly, and that is no virtue. I think it's kind of funny that the founder of the Austrian School of Economics, Ludwig von Mises, the man which basically every Republican would point to as their foundational philosophy of economics, he wrote a book called Liberalism. He was a liberal, whereas in modern nomenclature, these people would be against liberalism. But what he means is he's economically liberal. And there's no doubt between Hayek and Mises who's correct in my mind. I agree with Mises. However, that is assuming that the ecosystem is behaving properly. So if economic protectionism comes into the mix, perhaps you start to look at Hayek and understand his position. Monopolies, companies treating illegal actions as legal for a price, abuses of the free market system can destabilize it. Yes, free trade is the basis of all good things in monetary policy. However, sometimes what they would call free trade is really captured industry. It's a tricky situation. Do you allow for government intervention or not in the economy? One can see the downside and upside of both. So unfortunately, I don't see a very clear-cut answer. You definitely don't want a centrally planned economy. However, given that there are people who would deem selfishness a virtue, some forms of economic interventionism must be employed. Where to draw the line, nobody knows.